So this isn't like the tutorial in the first game, where it was, I don't think there was a to be continued. You were just done. Amnesia? I can't believe my lawyer's trying to defend me in such a state. Why didn't you tell me, sir? I'm sorry I didn't mention it to you. Oh, I know what to do. I heard you can fix something like this with a really strong shock to your system. Come on, lower your head a little. A Maggie kick should be all you need. No. I think I'll pass on this one. Come on, I'm sorry. Whenever I see someone in trouble, I have a hard time leaving them alone. I tend to stick my nose where it doesn't belong and try to tackle everyone's problems. Well, my head's one problem you won't be tackling today. Well, we're here to solve your problem first. We can deal with mine later. Why are all those feathers a thing? For now, do you think you can fill me in on a few things? Like why you smack your head so often? Of course, I'd be honored to. Well, I guess I'll start with my name and then I can tell you about me. No, that's okay. Really, I think I know you and your name pretty well by now. I was wondering if you could help me figure out a few things about myself. So my name is Phoenix Wright? What a weird name. This is serious, you really don't remember. I'll tell you what, sir, you can have this back and maybe it'll help. This is a business card? I got this from you. It's my most prized possession. Oh my god, fangirl. You can borrow it for now, but please give it back, okay? Okay, there are some numbers written on the back. Oh, that's your cell phone number. I guess for now we should stop talking about me and start talking about this case. This case? Yep. Can you think of anything that would be helpful for me to know? What can I tell you? I can't think of anything other than the incident with that cell phone, but... Cell phone? Yeah, your eyes lit up when we talked about it at the detention center, sir. Hurry up then and tell me, this might be very important. Okay, Roger. It was on the day of the crime, just before 6 p.m. I picked up a lost cell phone while out on a walk with Dustin. All of a sudden, the phone began to ring. Hello? Oh, thank you. I've been searching for my phone. Is this yours? Oh, I'm glad you called. We can meet up and I can give you this back. I'll be right there. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name. You can call me Maggie. We agreed to meet up at 6 p.m. Dustin and I waited for the person to show up, but they never did. So where is this phone you found now? I gave it to you yesterday. Huh? To me? Is that the phone in my pocket? You mean this? Do you think it has anything to do with the murder? Do you think it has anything to do with the murder? I don't really know, but if my eyes lit up. You were here all along. You're so mean. I called you 1,000,000 times, but you wouldn't pick up. And when I went to check in the courtroom, everyone had left. Hello there. Now, who the heck is this? Let me guess. I'm supposed to know this girl too. God. Hey, good morning, Maggie. And good morning to you too, Maya. So, how's it going? Is there a word for worse than abysmal? Oh? And what if I said everything will be fine? That's right, it's Maya to the rescue with the ultra-decisive, super important evidence. Here you are, Nick, the thing you wanted me to bring. Huh? Oh, thanks. The heck is this, a list? There's about 20 people's names and phone numbers written on it. It was kind of tough, but I managed to dig up some dirt. It looks like these guys are up to no good. No good? As in, that's no good! There's a group of con artists the police are currently investigating. I think these guys are members of that group. Why would a group of con artists pop up in a case like this? Don't look at me! And where did you get this list from in the first place? What? Don't you remember, Nick? You're the one who asked me to go look this up yesterday. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's right. There's numbers in the memory of that phone Maggie found. So that's where they're from. You're awfully forgetful these days, Nick. I hope I never get to be a forgetful old prune like you. What, in like 6 years or whatever? Maya, actually, Mr. Wright is... Mr. Wright, recess is now over. Please bring the defendant and return to the courtroom immediately. Oh, cops! Guess you have to get going. We can talk about you being old later, Nick. Wish us luck! Yes, I have all the pieces now, more or less, except for my own memory. All that's left is put it all together. I'm not going to lose this. I can't. Come on, Nick. Better get a move on. Yeah. Court will now reconvene. Please call your next witness to the stand, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. But before I do, if I may say a few words. What is it, Mr. Payne? It's about the next witness. He has a tendency to say things that rub people the wrong way, you see. Well, I asked if the court might be a little lenient on... There is no need to give a preface. Just hurry up and call your witness, please. Yes, Your Honor, the prosecution calls its next witness a drifter who was taking a walk in the park on the day of the murder. Please state your name for the court, witness. Before I do, I'd like to clarify a little something. Oh, all right, go ahead. Just now you introduced my wonderful self to the court, correct? Perhaps as a drifter who was taking a walk? Did I? But I will not stand for that. Now you've tinted the court's eyes and colored me wrongly. Sure, I suppose calling me a university, but to give everything in life is supposed to be the utmost highest, high-quality grade. I'm really looking for that perfect, unbeatable I have a rigorous selection process. Yes, I understand. I'm very sorry. I'll be more careful from now on. What is he? A human chatterbox? Ugh, I have to question him. Fashion, cars, women, classes, and of course, university. First rates only need apply. Glasses? But you aren't wearing glasses. That's enough. Your name, witness. No, not my name. Oh, is that how you want to play this? Using your power and influence to keep the young people down. I see how you work now. You old people and your dirty tricks. You thought you had me, but you thought wrong. Had you how? With what? I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Oh man. I forgive you. Alright, I suppose I can tell you my name. I am Richard Wellington. The drifting virtuoso with a PhD in drifting, as it were. Who is this dude? If you wanted to, you could call me a university student in transit. Mr. Wellington. On the day of the murder, you were strolling through the park, correct? It would appear that you are attached to that word. If you must, then by all means. But I remind you that I am in no way a prepubescent boy out on a walk with mommy. You must know. Anyway, please testify to this court what you saw during your walk through the park. See, you said it again. Taking a walk, what you witnessed will do, Mr. Wellington. Yeah, he definitely tried to murder me, or at least put me out of commission. I was at the park all afternoon, deep in thought about my life situation. I don't remember the time all that well, but I do believe it was past 6 p.m. All of a sudden, a police officer falls from above, right in front of my eyes. Huh? Without a thought, I looked up, and there I met the eyes of a charming young lady. Of course, I remember her sweet face. It was that of the pretty defendant there. The only thing I saw was the banana that fell with the police officer. There you go. The banana. That was certainly a decisive testimony. Decisive? Nick, did you hear what he just said? Yeah. That's all you have to say? How can you be so calm? It's strange. My mind is very calm and clear. Maybe it's because I believe in my clients. You mean Maggie? Yes, and if you could actually get out of my box so that she can come back over here, because that was much more helpful. And if she really is innocent, then that can only mean one thing: that guy is lying. Honestly, I don't know, because she's not an attorney, so it's not like we're counseling. She's more just like my legal assistant. She's not a paralegal. You may now question the witness, Mr. Wright. I'll find out the truth no matter how well you craft your lies. So you were at the park all afternoon? You seem to have a lot of free time. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? That was very rude of you, but then again, what can I expect? That's what you get from a man who graduated from a no-name trashy university. No-name trashy? Now, this might be hard for a mush-headed, feeble-minded baboon like you, but I have to think very carefully about the future of our great country. But I thought you said you were thinking about which college to go to just now. Oh, please. Which university I go to will directly affect the very future of this country. That arrogant little snot. Arrogant is an understatement. This is pure narcissism. How'd you know what time it was? I see you're not wearing a watch, so... Is that the best you can do? Do you think you can discredit me like that? You're just a third-rate, biased fool. I guess I can't expect real smarts from you. His arrogance is really intolerable, so what should I do now? You should actually make him answer your question instead of just insult you. Answer the question. How do you know what time it was? Stop shaking your fucking head. Tisk tisk. I can't believe I have to deal with a worm like you. You're just a shallow man who can only slam on desk and point at people for fun. I guess I don't have a choice. I'll try to explain it though, so that even a third-rate simpleton like you can understand. There's this little thing they call a clock at the park. Did you get that? Do you know what a clock is? It's a thing that tells you time. As you can see, Mr. Wright, it's even in the picture of the crime scene. Oh, so it is. I looked at the clock, and that's how I knew the time. But if you ask me, this whole concept of it's totally nonsense. First-class person doesn't live, and ridiculous, freely without constraints. And yet again, a flood of meaningless words. Talk about a first-class waste of time. Yes, he would tell him to shut the hell up or he'd be found in contempt of court because he's not answering the questions. He's just insulting people. You can't just simply antagonize the person questioning you. You will get a chance to slap him figuratively. I'm not. And how did you know he was a police officer? Dude. You obviously have no idea how powerful my deductive reasoning skills are. With one glance, I could tell just what kind of occupation he held. That shoddy do-it-yourself hairstyles, the way he tied his tie, and that cheap. How am I supposed to know because wearing an officer's uniform? Shouldn't that statement have come first? Wow, that's pretty impressive. Hey, Nick, do you think he's figured out what I do? Even I haven't figured that out yet. Really? Not a thought. Are you sure you got a good look at her face? Oh my god. I hope part of the sentence for him is that he has to cut that stupid bang. Animals have this thing called an eye, Mr. Wright. They use this eye to see things. Okay, this is taking the tutorial aspect just a bit too far. In the case of humans, we have two of them. Yes, even you. I don't care if I have them or not. Did you or did you not get a clear look at her face? Well, that's what the witness was just about to get to. I'd like to request that Mr. Wright not use such a loud voice during questioning. Sustained. Mr. Wright, please refrain from raising your voice in this court. Then please don't make me have to raise my voice. That's something that would happen too. Like, don't yell if you don't need to. Are you finished? I'd like to continue if that's all right with you. I will say, this dude, he's worse than any of the other characters we played, that we, like, interacted with in the first game. Even that mafia lady was, like, less condescending than this dude was. So you're sure you're not mistaken? Please, don't confuse your pitiful train wreck of a life with mine. I'm what you call a famous brand name product, while you are only a cheap imitation. Actually, no, he's not worse than Von Karma. Von Karma was, I'm not sure we'll get worse than Von Karma, but Von Karma was, like, terrible in a spectacular way. This dude's just awful. There's no way someone as magnificent as myself could have made a mistake. Of course, of course. What? What do you mean, of course? Ho, 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 of course. Did you notice anything else of interest, witness? The banana? Well, it was actually more than just one, more like a bunch of bananas. Now, what would a bunch of bananas be doing there? And why would I know such a thing? I'm only telling you what I saw. That's really strange. He never mentioned anything about a bunch of bananas. That's it, Nick. He's got to be lying about the bananas. He could be, but there's no reason for him to lie about there being bananas at a crime scene. And what if it's not a lie? Well, maybe he thought he was seeing one thing and it was something else. If he mistook something else for a bunch of bananas, then that would be an inaccuracy. Oh my god. If my client is innocent, there's no way to... Q, stop talking. We know what it is already. Which means if we can somehow show he's lying... Yes, that's exactly what we need to do. She's right. She's got a sharp mind. I wish I could remember who she is. Is everything okay, Nick? Bananas. Mr. Wellington, I believe I have the bananas you saw right here. Oh, so you knew about the bananas too? Why didn't you say so earlier? But don't think you can use this as a way to pull more information out of me. And that's where you'd be wrong. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? Isn't that the baseball glove? Huh? What? A baseball glove? Doesn't that look delicious? Care for a bite? That's not... It's a... No! Your Honor, I think this proves one very important fact. This witness loves bananas. Knows nothing about baseball. By the way, just how bad are your eyes? Huh? How? What? You... Why are you asking me about this all of a sudden? Well, you said something about glasses earlier. Your Honor, it is very simple to mistake a glove for a bunch of bananas. No, I don't think so. Objection overruled. You're one of those people, yes, you know what I mean. You're like those people who refuse to accept Galileo. You're too used to possibilities, so in the end, viewed from afar. And that is why I asked how bad your eyesight is. They're both 2200. I suppose you're gonna tell me that's terrible, right? Why are you not wearing your glasses today then? Contact lenses. That's because I lost them recently, you see. Of course, I was planning on getting a new pair made right away. But you know, my glasses are no ordinary glasses to replace them. How about when you witnessed the crime? Were you wearing your glasses then? Oh my god. How about it, witness? You are an unrelenting evil man. You're like those people who reject courageous... Is that Joan of Arc? He's talking about Joan of Arc burned at the stake, which boils down to you were not wearing your glasses at the time. Therefore, the identity of the woman at the scene of the crime and that of the defendants cannot be proven to be the same by this witness. But the height difference was only 9 feet. It was very possible for him to see the face of the culprit standing on the upper path in the dark? I mean, I guess. Witness, please be more accurate in your testimony. Remember, a person's life is at stake. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, please continue with your testimony. 1-1? Yeah, okay. Please tell the court what happened next in the moments after you witnessed the crime. I should have bananas in the morning more often. The girl on the upper path ran away as soon as she realized I was there. After that, I immediately called the police station to report the crime. It must have been 6:45 p.m. when I made the call. They must have had a lot of free time on their hands since they showed up within 10 minutes. So the person who was on the upper path you saw and then ran away. I think I read that wrong. Yes, that is correct. Which is why even someone without a superior brain like mine, like mine can understand that. That girl is the murderer. You may question the witness now, Mr. Wright. You got some lashes for sure. She ran away just like that? Yes, she did. She saw me and flew to the nest like the guilty bird she is. Pun intended. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that pun too hard for someone who only got a third-rate education? Actually, that did take me a few seconds to get. Anyway, she ran away the instant she saw you. How could you tell her it was my client? The witness has already answered that question. He has stated that the defendant is the culprit. This is true, Mr. Wright. I'm striking your question from the record. How can I get more information out of him? Immediately? As in immediately. I'm sure a minute might have elapsed before I did, but that's the duty of every good citizen. Or did they not teach you that at your pitiful school? You think people learn about how to call the police in college? Hey, Nick, I think you should take a look at the court record for a sec. Does that have to do with the time? How do you know what time it was? The detective told me, you know which one I mean. The one with the jacket that makes him look like a dropout from a no-name high school. Hey, pal, I graduated from pretty good, top-ranked college. I don't believe this. It doesn't matter. I don't believe I was mistaken on what time I called. And if I'm wrong, then that detective obviously doesn't know how to tell time. What? Why you? You're some lousy kid who... I think the court can see your point. Anyways, how do the police respond? Press. So you're saying that there were police on the scene by 7 p.m.? They got there before that, I think. There usually aren't many people in that area at that time of day. But suddenly, before I knew it, there were people crawling all over, gawking. It certainly says something about the morals of the people in this country. I can't find anything out of the ordinary in this testimony. Why don't you take one more look at the court record? You know, what I said earlier? Yeah, I guess I should. 6:45, so he called 17 minutes after? That seems odd. Mr. Wellington, would you please take a look at this? You mean the victim's autopsy report? According to this, the murder occurred at 6:28 p.m. So what of it? You said that you called the police immediately after the murder took place. However, by the time you had called the police, it was already 6:45 p.m. There's clearly a 15-minute gap. Do you deny it? Ugh. I think this court would like to hear what you were doing during this 15-minute gap. Ugh. The witness was in shock at the time after witnessing a terrible murder. I'm asking the fucking witness, not you. It's only to be expected that he'd be a little dazed. 15 minutes is hardly what I would call a little dazed. Ah! Mr. Wellington, yes? Explain yourself. What were you doing during those 15 minutes? Answer the question. Telephone. Spit it out. I was searching for a phone booth. A phone booth? You mean you don't have a cell phone? You and your questions as if you're trying to open all the layers of a matryoshka. Is that how it's pronounced? Doll. You must think you're really something special. Witness! I lost my cell phone there. Are you happy? You lost it? So we have his glasses and his cell phone. Unbelievable. You lost your glasses and your cell phone? You must be very scatterbrained when it comes to your belongings. What? Are you saying that first-rate people are never allowed to lose things? You ever heard that all rationale quirk could be genius, plain people? Enough. Oh man, oh man. Wait, hold on a second. Lost his cell phone. Nick, that cell phone, could it be? You mean the cell phone Maggie phone? There's no way. Why, I didn't see this coming. What should I do now? Mr. Wellington, where's your cell phone right now? What are you getting all excited about? You seem to be a little confused. I found my phone, I'll have you know. See, here it is. Oh, I see. Looks like he got his phone. I thought that just maybe that was his. Well then, I think we've cleared this issue up. At the time of the murder, the witness did not have his cell phone because he had lost it. Therefore, the delay in his call was caused by his search for a phone booth. Well, that's the gist of it. I guess you could put it that way and leave it at that. And say nothing else about how there's definitely a phone booth. Do you have any further questions, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, the witness testimony does not make any sense. I don't believe that there was ever a need for the witness to search for a phone. How dare you? You can't just make outrageous claims like that. You do have some sort of proof, don't you? Well, yeah, of course. This evidence should be good enough, I think. Alright, let's have this proof then. Please present proof that the witness had no need to search for a public phone booth. This is the right one, right? Yeah. It's quite simple, actually. Please take a look at this. At the crime scene photo. Is there a problem with it? Oh, there's nothing wrong with the picture, but if you don't understand my logic after looking at it, something is wrong with you. No, it's a phone booth. That is correct. All the defendant had to do was walk 3 steps. Mr. Wellington, why did you not use the phone that was right in front of you? Order, order. What does reporting the crime a little late prove for the defense? Well, it impeaches the witness to a certain extent. The witness can't explain what he was doing for those 15 minutes, and that is reason enough to throw suspicion on his testimony. Yes, this is very true. What do you have to say for yourself, witness? Then I bet this phone really is his, Nick. He must have killed Dustin to get his phone back. But Maggie said that she was going to return it to him, so there's no reason for him to kill him for it. On top of that, we still have the phone she found anyways. Because of the names that were in the phone or whatever? But if he wasn't looking for a cell phone, maybe he was looking for something else? Was he? Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any thoughts you would like to share with the court? Can you offer an explanation as to what the witness was doing during those 15 minutes? There's only one possible explanation. Alright, let's hear your explanation. However, be forewarned that if your explanation is not persuasive, you will be penalized. Think carefully before you present, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Ugh, probably shouldn't have said that there was only one possibility. Why did the witness call the police right away? The glasses... Writing the name... Nope. I guess not. He was writing the name! That wouldn't take 15 minutes, I guess. Because he's the murderer. The glasses? Yeah. Mr. Wellington. What? Don't do that. You almost gave me a heart attack. These are your glasses, aren't they? Where'd you find I believe the court all heard what you just confessed to. That these glasses are in fact yours. I'll tell you where they were found, Mr. Wellington. These glasses were found under the victim's body. Under the victim's body? Order, order. Now, wait a second. Hold on. I didn't confess or confirm anything. Your Honor, I think the answer is quite clear here. As he fell, Dustin Prince grabbed the culprit's glasses. The culprit knew that he had to find his glasses and search frantically for them. What he didn't realize was that they were under the victim's body. And that is why it took him 15 minutes to make that call. Mr. Wright, are you indicating... Nope. Are you indicting the witness as the real murderer? Indicating. Ugh. I can see, I think. Of course, that is precisely what I'm doing. Oh! As you can see, Your Honor, he's clearly trying to suffocate himself. And no, I'm right. He is the real murderer. Did you figure it out, Nick? More or less. Turns out that this cell phone was the key to the case after all. Anyways, now our chance to deep six this guy. I'll sink him in one shot. Deep six? I've never heard that term before. I think I understand what it means, but... Yeah, this is so exciting watching you work again. Somehow my old self is coming back to me. It's time to sink or swim. Everything rests on the edge of a knife. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Order, order. Objection to your order, Your Honor. The defense is making a mockery of this court. Without any solid ground to stand on, he accuses the witness of being the murderer. Yeah, that's right. I'm no criminal. This third-rate fraud of a lawyer. In that case, why don't we look at it from a different perspective? Let's hear your explanation as to why you are not the murderer. Why, that's easy. For example, there's the name the victim wrote. What about that? Oh, you mean the name Maggie? Yeah, even an idiot like that, like you can read that, right? But we already know that this was not written by the victim himself. After all, the defendant's name is Maggie, and the victim was left-handed. In other words, in order to make the defendant look guilty, the real criminal used the victim's right hand to write her name on the ground. But, wouldn't that mean that the real criminal was someone the defendant knew? Otherwise, how else would that person know her name was Maggie or Maggie? That is a good point. The witness didn't even know of Miss Bird before this trial. Is there any way this creep could have known? Yes, they talked on the phone. It would be best if I could prove that the witness had a chance to learn that the defendant's name was Maggie. Now, will the defense please present its case? Mr. Wellington, you didn't have your cell phone with you on the day of the murder, correct? So what if I didn't? When you realized you had lost it, what'd you do? What did I do? Didn't you try to find it by calling it? Why you? How did you? Your Honor, these questions have nothing to do with... Overruled. Mr. Wright, where are you going with this line of questioning? Do you think there is some relation between the cell phone and the murder? I do, Your Honor. On the day of the murder, Maggie Bird picked up a lost phone in the park, and she also received a phone call from the owner of the phone. Hello? Oh, thank you. I've been searching for my phone. Is this yours? Oh, I'm glad you called. We can meet up and I can give this back. I'll be right there. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. You can call me Maggie. That was when you learned that her name was Maggie. But you made one fatal mistake. Fatal mistake? My client's name is Maggie with a Y, but the name that was written down on the ground was Maggie with an I. Ugh. This is a mistake that could only occur if all you knew was her name, how her name sounded. I did not like that sentence, apparently. Order. But, Your Honor, the witness has no motive. And your point is? It's very simple, Your Honor. A person usually would not kill someone without a reason. Mr. Wellington had no reason to kill anyone. That is absolutely correct. I don't have a motive. Well, she didn't either. Mr. Wright, Your Honor, can you explain what motive this witness could have had? It's very simple, Your Honor. Are you sure, Nick? If I said I can't offer an explanation, the trial's over, right? No, not necessarily. Now then, please present to this court proof that the witness had a motive. Mr. Wellington's motive is right here. What is this? A list? These phone numbers were pulled from the memory of the phone the defendant found. And we have determined that the people on this list are members of a certain group. You looked up all those numbers? Of course. This list of numbers was stored in the cell phone's memory. The names and numbers belong to people who are members of a certain con artist group. What? Con artist? Can you explain why these numbers were on your phone, Mr. Wellington? This is an outrage, an invasion of privacy. Looking up the phone numbers on a person's phone is a worse crime than murder. You're just like the one copyrighted the disruptive genius dialogue with the goddess. I don't care, Mr. Wellington. All I want is for you to tell us what this list is about. You think any of you know what it's like to be a refined man such as me? You're not a refined man. Your Honor, this is unjustified badgering of the witness. Objection overruled. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? Why would the witness have the numbers of a group of con artists on his phone? Isn't that obvious, Your Honor? The witness is. Mr. Wellington is a member of this very group. No. All of your friends' phone numbers are stored right here on this phone. If anyone were to look into these phone numbers, it would be all over for you. That is why you had to kill. No. This is too much. That does make quite a bit of sense. There was something that had me banging my head against the wall earlier that the game's just like ignoring, but whatever. It's not a big deal. Well, Mr. Wellington, would you care to explain? I got you. I have you now. That police officer. Your Honor, what is it, Mr. Payne? Your Honor, this is unjustified battery. You said that exact same thing only a few seconds ago. Please, let's think about the content of that phone call. The defendants had already promised that she would return the phone. After that, all Mr. Wellington had to do was meet Miss Bird to get his phone back. Why then would he need to... Whoops. That is a valid point. What does the defense think about this? You think about it logically, then it makes sense. And maybe we should be thinking outside the box. Yeah, if we think like that, let's see. Maybe that slimeball saw something at the crime scene that made him commit murder. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? Well, I don't think Mr. Wellington went to pick up his phone in a very friendly manner. But he was promised his phone, so why would he have been unfriendly to the defendant? I think he must have seen something that didn't agree with him when he got there. Well then, Mr. Wright, what was this something that didn't agree with the witness? Did he see that the dude was a police officer and then decided that it might have been a setup? Oh, right. Yeah. Thank you, actually. I would have forgotten about that. You can present profiles. What Mr. Wellington saw was the victim. The victim, you mean Dustin Prince? Dustin Prince had gone on his date right after his shift was over. With no time to change, he went to the park still wearing his police uniform. Oh. The girl that picked up my phone is with a policeman. He couldn't have known they were going out, so he began to worry. He was afraid the policeman would ask a few questions before returning the phone. If I do anything suspicious, he might run a check on my phone. In his mind, it was possible they had already run a check on the phone. And he went into a panic. Is this what you're saying? Exactly. Officer Prince was murdered simply because he was in uniform. Mr. Payne, do you have any comments? I'm thinking. It seems the truth has come out at last. The witness, Mr. Wellington, you are... Oh my god. Why is he squishing his face? Impressive. Not bad for a person with a third-rate education. What's that supposed to mean? The evidence. Okay, it's really creeping me out. All you've been waving around talking about is that suspicious cell phone, suspicious phone numbers this, suspicious con group that. They're all on that phone, but who's to say that phone is really mine? Where's your proof, your evidence? You want proof that this phone is yours? I'd do it more, but I feel like I'm gonna get the hiccups immediately as I start doing it. I already told you earlier. The phone I lost, I've already found it. You don't have even the slightest idea who the phone in your hand belongs to, but you can be sure it isn't mine, you simpleton. What? It feels good to see you squirm. We do seem to have a problem on our hands with this phone. Whose phone is it? Without knowing that, it's meaningless as evidence. Your Honor, this is bad. I can't let him turn the tables on me like this. Cell phone. There has to be something I've overlooked. There's gotta be. I got it. We should check for fingerprints. Fingerprints? Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wellington must have left some prints on his phone. Nick, don't you remember? Oh, I wiped it off? What do you mean I wiped it off? I what? You said there was sand all over it, so... Wiped it? I wiped it? Pretty thoroughly, too. It's so much fun watching third-rate trash babble like morons amongst themselves. You made a completed recovery. How many times do I have to say this? My phone is right here, you see? Oh, and incidentally, you can't check the number stored on this phone. It must have glitched because all the numbers just magically disappeared. You've got to be joking. He erased all the numbers I was going to use as evidence. Mr. Wellington. What's this? By the tone of your voice, it sounds like you still have some fight left in you. Where'd you finally find your cell phone? Oh, you are too much. And of course, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Now I remember. So that's when... What's wrong, Mr. Attorney? Why the harsh glare in your eyes? Nick, we've worked so hard to get this far, but if you don't do something quick, he's going to get off scot-free. I know his phone has to be his. But how am I supposed to prove something like that? Mr. Wright, if you cannot prove who the owner of the cell phone is, your indictment has no basis and therefore no power. Looks like you came up a penny short. Where did I go wrong? Don't blame yourself, you're merely a third-rate lawyer. You only made one big mistake. Who are you? What are you? That's something you haven't figured out for yourself yet. Who am I? The court hereby concludes the cross-examination. That will be all. Off to bid you gentlemen and ladies goodbye. I have reservations at that ultra-fancy restaurant on the upper side of town. Thank you for your assistance. You've had a stressful day, so please, bon appetit. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just let it go at that? No. Please wait, Your Honor. All right, Nick. I think I may be able to prove it. Prove it? Prove what, Mr. Wright? Everything. Your Honor, the cross-examination is already ended. Besides, the defense is just going to badger the witness with more than 8 questions. You will not harass the witness. Is that clear, Mr. Wright? Did you hear that? No harassment allowed, Mr. Attorney. Please, Your Honor. Very well, but this is your last chance, Mr. Wright. You may present one piece of evidence to the court. If you cannot prove everything, it's over for your client and for you. Do you fully understand? I don't know. This actually still doesn't make sense. Like, even if we can't prove that he did it, it's pretty... I don't see how the judge could just outright convict our client based on everything that's been raised here. It really doesn't make any sense. But the game makes it seem like unless you do this one thing, your client will lose. And it's like, no, not really. I'm sure you are well aware of the cross-examination period has ended. Were you paying attention, Mr. Payne? I said that Mr. Wright could present only one more piece of evidence. Yep. Oh. Now then, Mr. Wright, this is your last chance. Oh, that's interesting. So different evidences will take away more of your health bar than others. That's new. Is it this because his cell phone number's on the back? Why, thank you. How nice. Here, please have one of mine. That was a great reaction to that. It's written in fancy script. The ink is strong and clear, but I still can't read it. Wait, what am I doing? This isn't the time to be exchanging business cards. Your Honor, there's something very important about that card, and that is... This card is important because of what is on the back. You wrote your cell phone number on the back? But that's exactly it. Can you please call this number from your cell phone? Huh? Right now? But court is still in session. It's okay, you'll see. Okay, if you say so. Is the defense preparing something, Mr. Wright? We're going to call my cell phone now. And then the court will see everything for what it is. Of all the idiotic, stupid things to... What? Why is my phone? And what is this stupid sounding ringtone? Mr. Wellington. How strange. I could almost swear that you're holding my phone. You're... No, it can't. By the way, before I forget, thank you very much for the lump on my head this morning. I don't think I need to explain any further except to say... When you went to retrieve your cell phone, you mistakenly took the wrong one. How lucky. Yeah, I was gonna say, he has to choke himself at some point, right? Methinks someone was into autoerotic asphyxiation. So that is what happened. You were knocked out by Mr. Wellington. He is a man who lives on his pride and self-image alone, and in order to hide his involvement with the con artist group, he has become paranoid and has lost all ability to make rational judgments. So he might be considered legally incompetent. The Mr. Wright, the phone you're holding is Mr. Wellington's, naturally. Speaking of that man, how is he, Mr. Payne? He was arrested in this particular way, Your Honor. Very well. Now then, this court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, not guilty. Jordan fades back. Swish. And that's the game! Nothing further, Your Honor. That is all. This court is adjourned. I knew that the real you would shine through eventually. I'm so moved by what you've done for me, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I feel really bad for Dustin. He didn't do anything to deserve this. It's probably because of me. Huh? My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Your whole life? It can't be that bad, can it? Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. How is she alive? I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've ever taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and never won or even tied at a game of tic-tac-toe. My life has really been nothing but a string of disasters. That is pretty bad. Up until I went to college, I was known as the Goddess of Misfortune. And then at the academy, everyone called me Lady Luckless. Lady Luckless? What's worse is that my misfortune always seems to latch onto those around me. What do you mean? When I see someone in trouble, I always try to help. Ah, that's right. You were talking about this earlier. It happened again recently too, sir. There's an old lady pacing back and forth by the pedestrian crosswalk. I gave her my hand and, before I knew it, we were having dinner at my house. Oh. I'm sure that Dustin's gone because of me. That's not true. That glove didn't even have any sort of special meaning. It was just a present to say thanks for covering one of my night shifts. Oh, I see. Everything's all my fault. Dustin's death, your head being all messed up. Well, I don't think my head is that messed up yet. I'm going to find a new life for myself starting now. The next time we meet, I'm sure I'll have found a whole ocean's worth of good luck by then, sir. Yeah, after all, the Goddess of Misfortune is only a name. You bet. I'm gonna make it, I promise. Next time we meet, I'll only be an unlucky person instead of a goddess. Yeah, that's the spirit. One step at a time. Well, Mr. Wright, I should get going. Okay, good luck to you. Thanks, you take good care of yourselves. Sigh, what a horrible day. Fuck! Maggie, wait! Our bill! It's not. Oh, shit. Not paid again. I've gotten my memory back, but things are still a little fuzzy. But you're okay, and that's what counts. Really had me worried. Come on, let's go back to the office. I'm afraid to ask, but here goes. So this might sound bad, but who are you? What? Thought you said you got your memory back. At that moment, everything really did come back to me. Detective Gumshoe. He's someone I've had clashes with in the past during certain cases. He also almost got fired because he helped me, but I'm not going to mention that for some reason. Oh no, he actually literally says that. But he's also been a good ally during others. Maybe I should just let him finish talking. The judge. He's a lovable, kind old man who is easily swayed by other people's opinions. That is a terrible judge. But in the end, he always comes up with the right verdict. I have doubts about that. There are more cases than just your own. This person, I haven't got a clue. He seems to know me, but maybe he's mistaken me for someone else? And this girl, Maya? You finally remembered. This is Maya Fey, my assistant. I could just be like, no, actually, I just remembered from when she called you Maya earlier. That's right. I have so many unforgettable memories about her. For example, to Nick, what's wrong? You keep staring at me. Don't tell me you've missed me. Well, yeah, I suppose I have. I feel like I haven't seen you in ages. Oh? Well, I'm back now, so it's time for us to create new memories together. Alright, sounds good. All the phone numbers on my phone were erased by Mr. Wellington. I guess I have to start from the very beginning. Come on, Nick, let's go to our usual burger joints. Okay. Actually, it hasn't even been that long since you came back in my life. Yeah, like, are we gonna get that story? And that story began on one rainy afternoon 2 months ago. Sweet.